Hi my friends, and welcome to another interesting video in my series in my channel, System Admin Toolkit. And I definitely hope that you have seen my previous video as I spoke about endpoint security as well as demonstrated a number of things that you can do to protect your endpoint systems. Alright, so in today's video in my channel, I'll be taking the time just to show you, as a system admin, some of the tools that I have been using over the years. Tools that are very handy, very powerful. One of the things about being a system administrator, like any engineer, technician, then you need to have the right tools to do the job efficiently and effectively. And the following tools that I'll be demonstrating are just handful of the vast amount of tools that I use, and I will definitely be exploring a number of other resources with you. So please subscribe to my channel so that you can be updated as to when I release these new videos. Alright, so with further ado, I just want to get your hands in the mud as usual as system administrators. So one of the key things about being a system administrator is that you spend time to research, to experiment, to test resources. That's the way you will learn and to develop your skill along the way. So this is a list of 8 tools that I think are pretty important for you to add to your arsenal of tools as a system administrator, as a network administrator, as a network engineer, to ensure that you are as efficient as possible in carrying out your duties. And most of these tools that I'll be using are relatively inexpensive, or in some cases free, that you can actually use in your organization. Alright, and one of the first ones that I'm looking at is a tool, access control, security tool that you can use to quickly assess the security rights, access rights that users may have on an individual system or files that exist on a computer, on a server, right? That you can simply scan to see what are the access rights, because normally this is where the problem lies when accounts become vulnerable to attacks. Right, you need to have an idea as to the access levels on the files, important system files that exist on your computer system. So let me quickly jump to that application. And the thing is that these files applications can be easily found on the internet, that you can also do your further research. And I'll be putting all of these in my description below, and also put in the link so that you can actually access these resources to find out more details about how each of these perform. And many of these applications have details beyond my scope of knowledge, so it's very important that you also do your research, as I am just here to create an awareness for you so that you can add to your skill set. Right, so let me just quickly jump to that right now, and this is what the access enum screen looks like. Right, from there you have the path where the file is, or the access rights, the read write access, that is what are important. That is what is important, what is denied, what you can write to. Right, so from here you can scan an entire directory, for example your C drive, or you could also specify what directories it is that you want to scan. Right, so you could scan your immediate PC, you could scan a drive that is connected, you could also scan your network shares that you are connected to see who has rights and the type of rights that exist on those applications. For example, in my case, I would just do a quick scan, for example, on my documents. Once you select my documents, then you go to scan, and it automatically do a quick scan. And from here, you recognize that as the administrator, right? The administrator has rights to all of these files. He's able to read, administrator able to write, right? From here, the administrator is able to read, write. Everyone else is denied. So that's the type of information that you can quickly get instead of maybe searching to a file, going to the properties to drill down to find out what is happening with that file. You can quickly get off the bat the permissions, the read, write, denied permissions, and more as to what permissions exist on a particular application. All right. And I quickly move to another very important application, is that to keep your endpoints secured as well. You need to have a quick understanding of what application exists, what is up to date, what is out of date. So this is where vulnerabilities normally lie. So patch my PC. I said before, I put in a link to in my description so that you can easily access these applications. So patch my PC simply. When you do your scan, if you recognize, I have a number of updated scans which I use for my demonstrations. So quickly off the bat, once you bring up this application on your computer for the first time, then you're asked to scan. In this case, once I rescan, because I have this opening, then all of these applications are there. Right? So you can quickly select the applications. If you notice, all of these applications, it's saying 13 apps to install. Right? So you can immediately look the ones that are in red, that are indicating that these are applications that you definitely need to pay attention to on your PC, on your server. So once you run that application, it automatically tells you where the applications are outdated, that needs to be updated. And once you click on perform updates, it automatically begins to run that update on all these updated applications that are there, right? Which is pretty quick and easy off the bat to see all the applications that are installed. Those are out of date, that needs to be updated. All right. And a very handy tool that I normally use on my network is to quickly find all devices that exist in various subnets on the network. Right? In this case, my computer is connected to my own local network, so you will have a vast amount of devices. But quickly off the bat, this is my internal IP. Once you do a scan, you just put in the ranges of IP address that you have in your network. Alright, instead of searching through trying to figure out what device lies where. Then once you put in the IP range, then it quickly gives you a full listing of all devices that are connected to your network easily, so that you could quickly produce a report for your inventory purposes. So in some cases, it might pull back to you the manufacturer of the device, the MAC address, and you know that with the MAC address, with the IP address, things like those, you can do a lot of troubleshooting. And in cases like these, you might be able to, you will get to devices. In this case, you have a router connected to my network. Once I double click on this, it automatically will pull up that page. Right? From there, I'm able to log into that particular device. As easy as that. Right? So this is a very powerful tool. It's called the Advanced IP Scanner, and it's also a free tool that you can use. Right? Now, one of the very powerful tools that you want to actually start using, this is an enterprise application that is used for vulnerability scanning, testing. To get a better understanding of this tool, is also good that you do a research. There are lots of additional resources online that shows you in depth how to use this application, but I will give you just right now a quick view of what this actually looks like and how you can actually get up and running with your application. Right, so straight off the bat, it is called Nessus, right? And you can also, I'll put a link in my description where you can actually download this application, as well as how to install and play around with this application. There's an enterprise version to this application that has far more features, but straight off the bat you can scan, I believe by default in your network, about 30 or 35 devices, and from this you can get a pretty detailed amount of information. Let me put in my password. Right, so Nessus is a very powerful, lot of enterprises actually use this application. Powerful vulnerability scanning app that seeks to identify all the vulnerabilities that might exist on your servers, on your endpoint devices that are connected in your network. Right, so straight off the bat, once you get there, you could simply go to a new scan, right? And you have vulnerabilities, various types of vulnerabilities. You have basic network scan, advanced dynamic malware. You could be looking for web application tests, credentials patch, all of these things that you could actually check for within your network on various systems, right? And you have the paid versions, upgrade versions, that you have to actually pay for the enterprise versions of these applications. So in your environment, if you want to know if you are PCI compliant with your computer systems, all of these things are there. Audit your cloud infrastructure. Right, sir? Off the bat, you have a number of free resources that exist. Right, so I could simply do a host scan to discover live hosts and all the open ports. So I could quickly run a scan here. You could just create a name, so test, save, add targets, right, in here. The targets, right, I could simply just put in an IP address or your subnet, 192.168.1. Right, and you could say save. From here you could simply click on this and click on launch, and it begins to do a search on your network to find out what's actually happening. Or let me do this one more. I could even go back to a previous scan, and then I could say, all right, launch. In this case, this is the IP address of my computer. I could just scan my computer immediately. Right, so from there it immediately starts to scan my computer, and from there it will discover all vulnerabilities that lie on this particular PC. So within a few minutes it's supposed to start generating a number of reports in terms of open ports, out of date applications, things that are vulnerable that you can immediately address off the bat. Right, so while that is scanning in the background, I'm going to quickly show you another application that you can actually use in your network, and then I'll get back to the results of Nessus. Alright, now a very powerful application that you need to be aware of is terminal emulators. Right, these are very great tools for connecting remotely to your servers, connecting to your routers, switches, right, terminal emulators that connect to devices that don't normally have or normally don't have graphical user interfaces. So a lot of system engineers persons normally use these applications. So I will quickly use one of the famous one is Spotty, and you also have Mobax term, which is a very powerful terminal emulator. There's a few free version to this application that you can use. Right, so from here I'm going to quickly demonstrate how this application is used to quickly connect to servers. So let me quickly jump into let me quickly get into my AWS account just to spin up one of my virtual machines, just to show you how quickly you could actually connect remotely to a remote server that you have using that terminal emulator. Right, and this tool can be used for any remote admins. A lot of Cisco professionals use this to connect to their routers, switches. All right, you can use it to connect to your servers. In this case, let me connect to one of my Linux-based servers. Alright, so my server is up and running. So in order to connect to my server, then I quickly just go to my terminal emulator and you put in the IP address, specify your username, alright, you specify your key. Let me just access my key that is required to connect to my remote server. Right, and that is the power of the Mobax term emulator, and immediately I am logged in to my Linux server as quickly as that. Right, so you can connect two various types of server, TFT, FTVNC, whichever the case is, various types of server that you can connect to using this powerful application. Various sessions, you can connect your telnet sessions, if you have Windows desktops, servers, VNC, FTF, serial, file, uploads, shell, all of these Amazon connections just by using this powerful tool. All right, from there, let me quickly power down this instance. All right, so that's tool. Let me quickly go back to the Nessus tool to see alright, so this is actually still running, but so far you recognize that let us look at our vulnerabilities. So from here it automatically shows you where vulnerabilities are: medium, high, mix. Right, servers, it tells you the name of what is happening, SMB, and from there you are able to drill down to get additional. So yeah, those are critical, those are high, medium, and from there you are able to look at all the vulnerabilities that exist on a particular end user device, server, whichever the case is, and then you are able to remedy those solutions. Right, so as I put a link in my description, then you can do further research to get further details and using that application. All right, let us go back to our list, and we have a very powerful resource again that you can add to your toolkit if you're not familiar with this tools platforms. One that we want to look at is Spiceworks. Right, it's a very powerful open source application or community that I've been using for a number of years. Right, and if you go down, it is said it is one of the most trusted tech marketplace. Right, where IT pros and technology brands come together to push the world forward. Right, so this is a very powerful application or platform that you can get signed up to, and it has a number of features that you can use, especially from the tools area. You can create an help desk, inventory support, connectivity dashboard, cloud help desk, and the list goes on. Right, so straight off the bat, you could simply click on inventory, right, and you could actually launch an inventory or download inventory to get to see a listing of all the resources that you have sitting on your network. So let me just click on inventory, launch. Right, and from there you could simply create your inventory team just like that. You could download a scanning agent, download collect agent, right, device. So these are all the things that you can do within your network. Add insights, devices or internal potential devices with agents, right? So you could actually push out a number of agents, and this is a fresh install, so you will not be seeing a lot of details inside this. But this is a tool that you can actually experiment with. You can also even do further researches to see this in action, right? So you can actually get this tool installed, download, play around with it. Very powerful to have in your toolkit. Another tool that we have is the LAN Sweeper. Right, it's a very powerful application. Now it exists in both a free version and an advanced version. I believe that the free version allows you to scan your first 100 devices on your network. I think anything outside of that, then you would have to pay for a subscription. Right, so straight off the bat here, then you can see your dashboard, main page, servers, software, hardware, Active Directory, every single thing that you have sitting on your network. You're able to monitor, push out policies, deploy software, do configuration on those devices. It's a whole myriad of things that you can do that is beyond the scope of this video explanation. Right, so you have actually in-depth videos that you can actually access to see further details. You can actually create your own help desk, Active Directory, manage hardware. You can see your servers, so all the servers that exist on your network. You can see all the details about the servers, the application that sits on those servers, the roles that they have, all the software that sits on a particular application, right? All these tools, all the publishers that exist. For example, in the case of my Windows 10, you're able to see all the details on that computer straight off the bat. IP addresses, make, memory, drive, all this software that exists, details about them, what needs to be updated. All of these things that to make your life much easier. The brand of desktop that you're using, key, software, scanning, all these things you can actually deploy within your network very easily by using this powerful application. And the last tool that I want to look at is called This to VHD, which I believe is a very powerful tool for any system administrator to have. Now this is very powerful for backup, one, as well as to create a virtualized copy of your physical systems. Right, so if you want to protect your servers, I've actually used this in the past. this has come to the rescue. I've used this to come to the rescue of situations whereby servers crashes and you need to have a immediately restore these machines or to. So what you can actually do with this application is to, in this case, you have a physical machine. You could go through, look at the drives that you want to virtualize, and once you click on this and then you select create, then that's it. You virtualize the entire physical platform, then you are able to spin up a virtual environment, whichever that is, Microsoft Hyper-V, whether it's a VMware, whichever the case is. And then you can simply create your virtual machine, attach this as a drive that you can go onto to pull data from, or you can actually create a bootable drive within your virtual environment and quickly boot from this drive as if it was just a regular physical device. Right? So in my other videos, I'll be actually doing a deep dive demo into how you can actually use this tool along with Hyper-V to boot and to load your virtual machine using this tool. So guys, that's my listing of quick tools that I believe are very important for you to have in your toolkit, and look out for many more videos to come. My arsenal of tools as well as different applications and that you can use as a system administrator to enhance your efficiency in how you carry out your day-to-day duties. I hope this video was helpful. Please leave your comments so that I can better improve on the delivery of these videos, and also do not forget to subscribe and to stay alert of all my subsequent video release.